We are getting the chance to talk to lead singer of your mom's favorite band. Please welcome Gable from Gable Price and Friends. How you doing, man?
What's up? Oh, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, Gable, for our audience that might not know, they're probably thinking, I don't remember Gable Price and Friends being my mom's favorite band, but it says it in your Instagram bio, so it has to be true, right?
It has to be, and I would hope so. We've got more people than not reaching out to us and being like, "Yeah, my mom loves you guys. Your bio is true." Now we're working on changing our bio because we've recently, since we had a lot of fans of the band start bands, and then they start using that, and so it feels a little unoriginal at this point, and so we're trying to find something new.
Your mom's of your mom's of your mom's favorite band. It's like a matrix cycle here, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't want to waste any time. I want to dive right into this. When it comes to music, I mean, this band had to start somewhere, and everyone always has some sort of inspiration for how they got started in music or why they started something. So I'm curious, who was your inspiration for creating music?
It kind of goes all over the place. I feel like I have eras of inspiration of this was the initial, this was the next 3 years, this was the next 5 years. I would say if I could kind of summarize all of it, I would say that the first initial burst of inspiration came from my dad was a worship pastor at a church. And so I was always around music, listening to music, getting brought into rehearsals, playing instruments. But then I would say most years it's been probably between Switchfoot, Reliant K, and then Manchester Orchestra have been my probably 3 top.
Well, there you go. I mean, those are some pretty good ones. Those are some pretty heavy hitters, too. Switchfoot, Reliant K, all of them. I mean, those are some very enjoyable bands. Now, I won't lie, Gable. I've had a chance to listen to the album, The Consequences of Being Alive. I want to say it dropped November 11th of 2022?
November 11th, 11/11.
Yeah, 11/11. One of my friends introduced me to this, and I have been hooked on 2 songs specifically, Tough Love and I Don't Want to Live Like This. But I've got to know, since you're here with us, what would you say was your favorite song to create on the album and why?
I would say in the creation process of it, I would say The Consequence of Being Alive was probably one of my favorites. The song in particular. Also, Upside was a really, really fun song in the creation process. But I would say now, I think my favorite is I Love to Struggle. That one, we've been opening with it on tour. It just kind of brings a new life when it's live, because in the recording process, you have a different feeling. You have the studio sound, you have how it sounds in the recording, but then when it's live, you have different favorites. So I would say my favorites on the record, The Consequence of Being Alive, Upside. I even really enjoyed Treason and how that turned out. But live, I Love to Struggle. Brother Jack and I Don't Want to Live Like This kind of feel like the undefeated songs live.
Yes. And Brother Jack, I actually checked your Spotify, is actually so close to hitting 1 million streams. It's so close.
Yeah, and I Don't Want to Live Like This are right there. I think
they're literally fighting for it. They're literally fighting for who's going to get it. I'm really excited for your tour because you guys are actually out on tour right now. Where are you at right now?
Today we're in Austin, Texas. We just kind of, crossed over into Texas last night, drove about 4 or 5 hours after New Orleans. But yeah, we got Austin today, Houston tomorrow, Dallas the following day. At the beginning of the tour, it kind of felt like we had, a couple shows off day. Then that kind of feels great because you can really hit a groove and get dialed in a different way,
Yeah, that's incredible. So, Gable, I'm really curious. Naturally, I'm sure you've done many tour dates at this point. But I would feel like there has to be some challenges that comes with being on tour. What would you say is probably the biggest challenge that you've had while you guys have been out touring, and how were you able to overcome it?
That's a great question. I think there's two particular instances. The first one I'm going to talk about has actually happened to us twice. But, we are in this stage where some cities we sell a ton of tickets, and some cities that we haven't been to, we're still building an audience there. And so, we'll have lower ticket counts in some of these cities, and it will feel great because we booked a room that has a smaller capacity. And so what has happened, it happened last night, and it happened on our previous tour, where we have, 100 tickets sold, 80 tickets sold, which is a great amount of people to come that you've never met before. But, there'll be that, and you'll be in this room that has a capacity around that size. But they've then booked us into, on the same day of the show, moved us to the larger room because something will happen to the smaller room. And so 100 people in a 150 capacity room, or 80 people in a 150 capacity room, 250 capacity room, feels great. 100 people in an 800 or 1,000 capacity room is really awkward because people are spread out throughout the whole thing. So that's happened to us twice. Happened to us last night most recently, because there was like a pipe that burst. We have a very high energy show, and so trying to figure out where your audience is in the room of, way bigger than you need is always really, really funny.
Wow. That's one of the things that I just never thought of before when it came to concerts and like booking and stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, Gable, really excited for your Ace of Cups show coming up here soon in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
I've never been to a Gable Price and Friends show before, so me and one of my friends, we are going to be stoked. We're hoping to be up there in the front. We're going to jam out. I'm sure you guys have got a lot planned.
Oh yeah, we do. I'm super stoked. Columbus kind of ends this run in particular, but I'm originally from Cincinnati, so not far from there. I used to go to Columbus for whenever bands would come through. I'm well acquainted with like Fox in the Snow and stuff like that.
Oh wow, yeah,
it's just a great area. Love Columbus.
That's amazing. Well, now that you're familiar a little bit with Columbus and, of course, Cincinnati, I can tell by your T-shirts that you're a little familiar with Texas now. Is that a Bucky shirt I see? Oh, my goodness. I'm a Texas
native.
Shirt
like 30 minutes ago.
Literally 30 minutes ago?
Yeah. I was like, I want a Bucky shirt tonight. I'm going to wear it for the show, and we'll see what happens.
Welcome. You have been immersed in the Texas culture, and we welcome you with open arms. Well, okay, so one last question. What would you say is a hobby that you have that fans might not know about?
That's a great question. So I feel like people probably know that I love basketball. I post about it probably more than I post about my own music.
Okay.
The NBA, the Lakers, stuff like that. But I've recently been super, super into cooking. I've been taking the master class from Thomas Keller, French Laundry, stuff like that.
And
watching The Bear, stuff like that. But getting really into cooking has been a huge thing for me, like, especially when we're home. If we're on the road, you're eating in the van, you're getting gas station beef sticks to hold you over until you're eating a high carb dinner, something like that. It's just kind of like a very centering, very normal, mundane thing to do at home that kind of feels like, oh, life is a little bit normal, Yeah.
That's incredible.
Wow, some music just started playing over there.
Gable, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you literally
awesome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you so much. Hopefully.
I'm so sorry about that. Hold on 1 second.
That's great. You saw that right here. I don't know what it was. Someone flushed a toilet. Someone did something.
No, it's anything that happens on stage is getting patched into here and through the speaker system in here. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot more noises here in just a second.
That's incredible. Hey, well, we don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much for spending what time you did with us, and enjoy the show, and we will see you in Columbus. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to check out the other content on our channel, and make sure you subscribe to find out what we're doing next.